I recently sat down at my laptop, opened the draft of my Gothic Romantasy novel, highlighted over 15,000 words of my own hard work, and hit delete. Deleting that much volume was the only way to save the manuscript. Like a lot of neurodivergent creatives, my brain really only has two functional gears. I am either completely stalled out, staring blankly at a screen, or I am redlining at 1,000 miles an hour. When you spend your life defaulting to that high speed, it bleeds into your writing. I find myself instinctively rushing through scenes, sprinting from plot point to plot point, out of fear that if I don't keep the pace blistering, modern readers will walk away. But treating your pacing like a sprint creates a massive blind spot. Moving that fast prevents the reader from actually experiencing the world you've built, pushing them away instead of pulling them in. My draft is carrying a lot of heavy narrative weight. I'm balancing dual perspectives, a layered magic system centered around a world-altering engine, and all the intense, brooding elements of dark academia. All of that is layered on top of 1486 Italy. Building a grounded, believable 15th century setting requires an immense amount of historical research. That creates serious friction. I'm trying to write short, snappy chapters designed for fast attention spans, while simultaneously asking those pages to hold up the structural weight of medieval world-building. Some days I joke I should have just written a Southern Gothic set in modern-day America, slapped a title on it, and called it a day. When you try to cram that level of historical complexity into a high-speed narrative structure, the story collapses under its own weight. A few months ago, I was sitting in my MFA workshop when a classmate handed me a piece of feedback that changed my entire approach to the manuscript. My professor chimed in and agreed. She challenged me to stop rushing the history. She told me the pacing was entirely too fast, and because of that, the story wasn't breathing. My internal reaction was highly defensive. When your neurodivergent brain associates productivity with hyper-fixated speed, someone telling you to slow down feels like an attack on your work ethic. Beneath that defense mechanism was a real fear. I was convinced that if I paused the action to describe the streets of Bologna or the political climate of San Gimignano, the audience would drop the book. That constant urge to rush and over-deliver on plot is a masking behavior. It hides a lack of trust in the strength of my own world-building. So I went back to the draft and started the terrifying mechanical process of highlighting and deleting a massive chunk of the manuscript. The cut had nothing to do with the quality of the prose. The sheer density of the text was simply suffocating the atmosphere. My professor was right. For a fantasy layered over real medieval locations to work, places like San Gimignano and Bologna need narrative space. Readers need time to stand in the city square and inhabit it. The timing of this realization aligned with the Aquarius full moon and Lughnasadh. It framed that massive deletion as a necessary harvest, cutting away the dead weight so the healthy parts of the story could thrive. By removing that volume, the remaining narrative finally had the space to find real depth. Looking at the manuscript now, that 15th century world finally feels real. The Gothic atmosphere has room to settle, and the magic system rests on a solid foundation. Pacing functions as a barometer of trust. It is the moment you stop managing the clock and start believing in the reader's ability to stay with you. There is a difference between dragging a reader forcefully through a plot and letting them walk freely beside your characters. If you are creating something right now, a painting, a business, or a new version of yourself, and someone advises you to slow down, listen to them. An invitation to slow down is a call to go deeper. It's an opportunity to find the substance that only exists when you stop rushing. If you know another creative who is afraid to hit delete and reset their own project, send this video to them. You can also find more resources and routines tailored for neurodivergent creatives over at Romantasy Routine at b12sites.com. I will see you in episode 3. The most powerful art comes from grounded intention, not frantic production.